I don't like this fight one bit, dude. Oh boy. Dude! Of course there's a team here, bro. I hate Revenant, bro. I hate him so much.
You all think you'll make it out of this alive?
Be quiet, you're terrible. Your totem is terrible. All it does is get us killed. F tier. Now that we got the worst character in the game out of here, let's get to the rest of my Season 9 Legend tier list. In the comment section, let me know what you guys end up thinking of my list. And remember to like and subscribe if you enjoy the video. And let's get into the rest of this. Let's start off with the D tier, guys. In D tier, we're going to have Fuse, first of all. Fuse, we've all known, has been just really bad since he was introduced. His recent update of just having another Knuckle Cluster really doesn't do much because Knuckle Clusters are a joke. As well as his ultimate, you can just sort of just run away from it. It's really hard to actually get trapped in it and it do any significant damage for most legends. So unless he gets a big rework, I don't see him going anywhere anytime soon. So Fuse is definitely D tier, guys. Next one on this list is going to be Rampart. Again, bottom of the barrel since she was introduced. Her walls are still pretty flimsy. She is slightly usable in arenas, but not by much. Sheila is still just a problem because you just can't sit there without getting beamed by a good player. So again, without a solid rework, something for her, she's also going to be pretty useless going forward as well. And the next legend for me is Crypto. He's been a solid legend for a while, but I think with the meta shifting towards a lot more movement, towards maybe like an edge style, not as much camping, a lot more movement legends, and that meta seems to be being pushed by the game Respawn. Crypto's just falling completely out of the meta. He feels completely just in a different style of character. He just doesn't feel at all good. His abilities are just lackluster, and no one really has the patience to play a good Crypto. So for that reason, he's just fallen and fallen and fallen for me. Because honestly, it's rare to find a good Crypto, and I don't think there's a benefit of being a good Crypto. So, D tier for Crypto as well. Now we're officially moving on to C tier. In C tier, let's start off with Watson. So Watson, as we all know, used to be a staple in any ranked team, in any comp team, but she's really just fallen out of favor as legends like Caustic got buffs. But even then, like I mentioned earlier with Crypto, this game has really moved on to like a more movement style of play, not as much stationary. And defensive legends have just all in general really fallen out of favor versus like more mobile characters or Jibby, who is a mobile defensive character. So Watson's really suffered from this, and also she suffered from just not getting recent, solid buffs. Her fences are just very, subpar. So she's really suffered from the game's evolution, as well as she just hasn't gotten any good buffs recently. So I really can't put her any higher than this because she's just really not that great at defending right now, and no one's really defending, let's be real. So next character we're going to talk about is going to be Caustic. He really also suffers from a lot of the same stuff, though not for the exact same defensive reasons. He did get nerfed, and that's what really hurt him a lot. And I think what people didn't realize as much, other than just like the gas damage that got nerfed, was that the gas like density pixels got reduced. So that makes seeing into gas way easier. So even if you're sitting in gas and you don't push, you could still maybe see the people in there. So you could still get beamed even without a digi. So that's another thing where just people are a little bit more willing to push in because the damage is less, and they might be able to see you more easily. And again, like I said, the game is really not about like playing buildings anymore, or not as much until the final zones, So people want to be moving around, flying around. So Caustic at times doesn't fit, and he's also just not as lethal as he used to be with his gas. Next legend we're going to go to is Lifeline. So Lifeline received a few reworks, buffs, but she's still really bad. She's really good in arenas, don't get me wrong, but I can't put her any higher than C tier for the BR mode. Her ultimate, though it gives you upgrades, still gives away your position. It still takes way too long. Her, her quick res with the drone doesn't have shield, so if you drop the drone on and try and get the res, it's just gonna get finished. So it's not gonna get off, most likely. And she's just not very good. Her drone res is kind of nice because it heals faster, but again, those are stuff that in a fight aren't gonna help you. Not having the shield when you res hurts that completely. So I just think that every rework that she got for the season was just made her worse in the BR mode. So I don't see her being any better than that, even though I have seen a lot of people running her for some reason. Now moving on to Loba, another character that got her bracelet reworked. And the bracelet is fire. It is much, much nicer. But again, she's also another legend that is better in the arenas than she is in the Battle Royale mode. Her ultimate got a longer cooldown, so it just takes longer. And that versus the bracelet rework, I think her main benefit was giving your team a bunch of loot. And if you just make her cooldown longer for that, then I think she just gets slightly worse. I don't think the bracelet fixes anything other than just working, So again, I just don't think she gives much to the team, and for that reason, she's C tier. Mirage is next. Mirage, C tier. It's just Mirage, dude. His decoys. Sometimes you can get bamboozled. I get bamboozled just because I don't see Mirages that often, so I'm not used to them. But in general, the decoys don't really do much. The audio sometimes gets wonky because of all the footsteps that they have, but in general, like Mirage, you're not doing anything. His decoys are average. His abilities are average. There's not much to him. He's just average character, man. And that's what we're finishing with C tier on. Now we're officially at the B tier, guys. In the B tier, we have first Bangalore. Bangalore has come a long way. Not too many changes since she was released, but she's gotten some noticeable buffs. Her smoke is obviously very strong in the hands of an actual good Bangalore. Gives you a lot of cover, allows you to reset or rotate if you guys are in a sticky situation. Her ultimate also goes off faster, and it's really easy to get stuck in it. So, she's just gotten a lot better. Her passive is still really nice, being able to run faster. So in the hands of very talented aggro players, she's an awesome legend to play with. Next, let's move on to Horizon. So she's come a long way in one season since she was super duper S tier. She's, for me, fallen to B tier. A lot of people are dropping her lower, but I like her at B tier. I still think her tactical is solid. She has now gone from that aggro streamer, heal in the air, keep fighting, mechanic, to I think she's now just a movement legend. Her Q is meant to get you guys to high places, and that's it. It's not meant to heal in the air. It's not meant to get out of jail free. It's just for movement. And her ultimate's still solid if paired and thrown correctly. So I still think she's a solid legend. She just now is different, and people just don't want to take the time to learn how to play her now, So that's really it. So yeah, she's B tier, guys. Sorry. And now we're gonna go to Pathfinder. Pathfinder, with all his reworks, all his nerfs, all his buffs, I think he's finally back at a good spot. In general, he's good for movement. His zipline's good. His fat grapples, if you can hit him, are solid. So if you need a movement legend or a recon character, he's a solid pick if you're really good with Pathfinder. Like we all know, the skill gap to be a good Pathfinder, it is a lot, but if you're a good Pathfinder, you're a good Pathfinder. So I think it's as good a time as ever if you really want to play Path. I think he's a solid pick and a good addition to literally any team. And that is our B tier. So now we're almost at the top. We are now in the A tier. In the A tier, I'm going to start with Wraith. Wraith getting low profile taken off is literally what makes her really good again. She just feels so much sturdier It doesn't feel like she just eats bullets and gets dropped immediately. Her Q and her ultimate are still good. You know, her Into the Void still takes a little bit to go off, but you know, it's again meant to be used smartly. Again, like the Horizon, it's not meant to be a get out of jail free card. So you have to use it with some time. You can't just run into a gunfight and get out like we used to. So still good. The Portal, still as good as it's been. You know, really the main change for her was low profile, just making her feel better. So she's still a very solid pick, as she has always been in this game. Moving along, we have Gibraltar. His dome, his artificial cover is just amazing. His fast res, you know, in the bubble, awesome. It really allows you to play edge, or just keep your guys safe if you're in a bad spot. His ultimate is awesome for keeping people off of you, or being able to put damage if there's a fight that you can then third. So Jibby's just a very complete legend. Also with his gun shield and fortified, he just also eats bullets and takes way longer to knock. So in a 1v1, you just don't want to face a Jibby. So Jibby also is a great addition to any team. And if you need a more, you know, if you want to run a defensive character, he's probably the only defensive character I would recommend, since he is mobile and literally carries the protection with him. And the next one on this list is going to be Bloodhound. Bloodhound has always been great for giving information. The Beast of the Hunt, the scans have always been amazing. The really only nerf Hound's got is the assist for like ranked reasons, for that easy KP. So that's what's I think hurt a few Bloodhounds. But obviously on any team, whether you're solo queuing or a trio, giving and getting very easy information can turn any, you know, bad fight or bad angle into a really good angle and an easy wipe, because you just know exactly where people are. The scan is still really strong, and it gives you perfect information on someone, where they're at or where they're even going to. So a Bloodhound on any team is going to still be just as good as ever. It's just maybe you just won't get a little bit of that easy KP that you used to get. And now finally, to end A tier, we are going to end with the new legend, Valkyrie. I've been on the Valkyrie ship since she released. I think she's a extremely complete legend. I think she's the best recon character currently in the game. Her ultimate is just amazing for getting you out of a sticky situation, being able to rotate ahead of multiple teams, and just getting you to the best spot possible, or getting you on height, is really just a very good ability to use in a lot of different scenarios, while also, you know, just keeping your team safe. There's so many times that I would get into a bad spot and my teammates, I'd be like, hey, just pop it behind obviously a bin or something. Like, you can't pop it out in the open, you'll get shot at and you'll probably just die. But if you have to use it smart, and if you can just like get behind a little cover, you'll get your teammates into really good spots out of sticky situations, and you'll get a lot more, you know, points in ranked just because you were able to survive. So she's a great character because of that. Her missiles are awesome for outputting a little bit of damage, like you guys saw in the intro. I got a knock and I ended up, you know, finishing that fight off with my missiles because I remembered they were there. And her jets are just great for either getting height, movement. I've done a lot of times where like I fall off of buildings and then just kind of zoom around the back, and I'm able to, you know, pop the shield battery and then come back right into the fight, because people don't expect those angles, because no legend up to this point has been able to kind of reposition while in the air. So she's, I think, really good, and also being a recon character, being able to give you information while in the sky, as with beacons. I think she's extremely complete, and I think she's like an amazing pick and should be on almost every team. And that is how we finish off A tier. Finally, we're at the cream of the crop, and if you guys probably noticed, I'm only missing one legend at this point, and that one legend is Octane. Octane is S tier for me. Octane is the only S tier legend. And why do I say that? I say that because I think Octane is the perfect movement legend. I think he has taken the spot of Wraith on every single team. He should be your old Wraith, you know, he should be the one that rotates you, that moves you, that gets you from those medium range point A to point B, not Valkyrie. Some people have been saying, you know, oh, you don't need an Octane if you have a Valkyrie. No, well, Valkyrie, you can't pop in a you know, in a situation where you're getting pushed, where you're in a very tight situation, where you're pinned. Like Valkyrie doesn't work because teams will hear it and they will push, and you'll get shot before you even get into the air. Octane is the very quick escape for quick rotations, for getting out of anything or getting into anything very fast. So I think he's a necessity. The stim change I don't think really affects much. I think if you're a skilled Octane, you understand when to stim and when not to stim. But his jump pad I think makes him a necessity on every single team. He should be the movement legend you pick, and he's just perfect right now. I don't see any reason for Octane to jump out of the meta or move anything. He is S tier, and I think he's the only S tier character for me because he's so perfect and he's definitely needed on every single team. And the need is why I think he should be S tier. With that, we wrap this up. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys at the next video.